Beard. From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 285 of Fans Talk Pro Wrestling, and it was recorded live on Tuesday, September 29th, 2015. With us tonight is Nick. Say hello, Nick.
Oh my god, you're back. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. I try. And also joining us is Squared Circle of Trust member Sean Walton. Hello, Sean.
G'day, mate.
My name is Garvin. This episode of FTPW has been brought to you by our friends over on Patreon. With the help of the members of Squared Circle of Trust, we released a new series called Suburban Mysteries. It's a collection of short stories written by Stephanie Tyler and performed by myself and other members of the Fans Talk family. So definitely check it out. You can reach it over at fanstalkpodcast.com as well as suburbanmysteries.com. All right, so let's just jump right into the conversation for today's FTPW. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on as far as the road to Hell in a Cell, which happens on October 25th. We're going to be previewing it on FTPW285 in just a few weeks. Also, we are pretty much on the road to NXT Takeover Respect on October 7th. We're going to be previewing it in full next week. But let's talk about this week's Raw. What happened that on this week's Raw that's worth talking about? Nick?
There were a few things that I think deserve notice and or mention. First of all, they opened up strong with the US Open Challenge. Xavier Woods answered that challenge. And yeah, it was a very good match. It's been forever since I've seen Xavier in singles competition, and it looks like he hasn't lost a step. I've seen folks raise the point that Cena looked legitimately pissed off in this match, and looking back, I can kind of see it, because that opening clothesline was stiff as hell, and I don't think he let up during that whole match.
Do you think it was that, or that he was really expecting Heath Slater, and this was like, totally different?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
We wanted to give Heath some love. It is Slater Awareness Month. You got to think about that. I think it could have just been he got, there was moments, if you look just when they had their little face-to-face during the ring announcement when they're about to start the match, he's trying to hold back laughing. He's looking angry. He walks up to Xavier Woods, looks really angry, and then you see him really forcing down, bursting out laughing. Because I think what made him maybe a little bit frustrated was New Day were told to go out and do their thing, but they just kept going and going and going. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But if you rewatch just that 10 seconds when they're announcing, Xavier Woods and John Cena, he's definitely trying to hold back laughter, as everyone else was pissing themselves laughing. So,
yeah, I could see that.
So,
yeah,
just before he raises his hands and does his little symbol thing, literally just there. So, anyway,
stealing the Dudley Boys gimmick. Yeah, but it was a great opening segment. There was one moment where they transitioned from the AA into Xavier Woods, Lost in the Woods finisher. I thought that was really slick. And the transition from the title match into the 6-man tag. I enjoyed that one as well. It was kind of awkward, the way that Cena was interacting with the Dudleys, just how far apart they were spaced on the apron. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, it was just a good way to open up Raw, I think.
Yeah, agreed. It was solid. It was kind of like the reason why I'm now tuning into Raw, which generally is the Open Challenge and the New Day, all happen in the first hour. I don't need to see the rest of the show. It's just going to be, that was the thing that sort of thought to me. I was like, well, these are the main things, the main points I want to see. It was actually harder to keep watching because I prefer it if they space it out. But, I think they're really trying to hook people on. Yeah. But, it led into some stuff that's interesting, I guess, with the Divas. Seeing Paige going face-ish and then heelish, and she's not actually sure what she is. She's just cool. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll actually result in something good. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not sure I enjoy this reversion to frenemy status. Like she was with AJ. Sometimes they were friendly, sometimes they were beating the hell out of each other, sometimes they were on speaking terms, sometimes God knows what. And it just seemed to further reinforce that whole stereotype that commentary perpetuates, that, oh, women all hate each other. Women everywhere are like that. What else do you expect? Bitches, am I right? But, yeah, I also wonder if maybe Paige is trying to force a little Steve Austin in the situation. Because, when she was on the podcast with Stone Cold, she openly and fervently admitted that she was a huge fangirl for Stone Cold, and that he was a big inspiration for her character. So it makes me wonder if she's trying to draw a little more of that into her performance, and it's not quite clicking yet. I don't know. I do like the way that Paige split up the team, but it seems like the WWE isn't quite done with that team storyline yet, considering that they had the 6 Diva tag. I don't know. The water's kind of muddy, I think.
Well, I think one of the major complaints about the Divas is that, yeah, I mean, like, they don't necessarily choose a side, or at least a consistent side. Like you said, like 1 week they're the heels, 1 week they're the faces. So, her not getting over, trying to incorporate, that almost anti-hero style of what Stone Cold was like. Of course, that wouldn't necessarily click as well as he did, just because there is no defined style. So you've got the commentators 1 week, loving what she's doing and then hating what she's doing the next week. So just because there's no consistent story, it would be difficult for her to fully get, over, regardless of what alignment she's with.
Yeah, look, I found, Natalya being in the mix of this whole thing. She's like the annoying mum in the background. Like, what are you doing? You're being a bad girl. Stop it. And then that's all she does. She doesn't really do much else, apart from having the worst bump I think I've seen a female wrestler do in quite a long time, falling off the apron. But it was just, I don't understand. There is no change to what it used to be. And what I think made Paige so great when she debuted is that she did it by herself. Maybe it was too much to bring them all in at the same time, because it ruins the hype between each person. That's my theory anyway. But
yeah, especially the way they're brought in with seemingly no stakes for any individual, no reason for them being there except Stephanie thinking, oh, I'm bored, I want to see some action, let's bring everybody in here and let them all go at it. Except that's not really what happened. Sasha's just been pushed to the periphery. Like, you barely notice her except when PCB's involved. And yeah, it's, as far as Natty goes, I like the idea of her stepping in to kind of fill the void that Paige left. If we absolutely have to continue this team storyline, somebody's got to replace her. And, Natty has that relationship with Becky Lynch going on years, and I'm sure Natty and Charlotte knew each other for a long time just because of who their dads were. But, yeah, it does seem like, I don't know about natural fit, but there's connections there. Natty and Charlotte fighting for the NXT women's title. There's mutual respect there. I do agree with you. She does come off as sort of like that den mother figure. The one that doesn't quite click with the younger generation. But, I think if we have her involved more often, more consistently, I think that'll go away a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so I definitely want to talk about everything that we're already talking about, as far as, where the Divas Revolution is going, Natty's involvement and all that sort of thing. But before we start that side of the conversation, anything else happened this week on Raw, especially as we head closer to WWE Hell in a Cell, that stood out to you guys?
Kane is amazing at how quickly he can change his outfit. In a moving car, getting face paint on. I'm sure he had his tights on underneath his suit. but getting the face paint, get it all on, and he comes out and being able to shake off a leg injury by stamping on the ground. It was amazing.
Yeah, he stomped his broken leg back into working order. That's some metal shit right there. I love it. And the way he was screwing with Seth Rollins throughout the show it's your severed head from your statue. I love the little, I just love the little touches that he brings to the table. It's been forever since we've seen interesting character work from Kane, and, I can't get enough of it.
The thing that bothers me, though, is that they've built him up. He's so strong now. Like, he snapped off a injured leg, he stomped it out. And the thing that depresses me is that the chances of him actually winning the title, if there is a match between him and Rollins, is really slim. Just because obviously something will interfere or something, but it's just so depressing because it's like, this is the Kane that everyone likes, the guy who's unstoppable, but he's always stoppable. If that makes sense. It's like, yeah, we've built him up to be 10,000 feet tall. He can't be injured. He can't be hurt, but he can sure as hell be beaten all the time.
Yeah. One quick thought is that, as we were heading into Night of Champions, we talked about the scenario as far as like, could Sting defeat Seth Rollins and become champion? And if he did, is that just a quick transition to give it to Sheamus as he cashes in? So now we've seen Sheamus try to cash in. Kane stopped him at Night of Champions. So this time, what if, Kane does win? It doesn't really seem like the good move to do, but if they just use it as that quick transition to then put it on Sheamus so that there's like a 3-way for the title, or, finally building a Sheamus versus Seth Rollins feud. Like, do you like that scenario a little bit better?
I do, but I'm pretty sure. No, I'm definitely sure. Sheamus wasn't even on Raw. He didn't even do a cameo. He didn't do anything. We haven't heard from him about him failing to, cash in and how he's going to try again. He's just disappeared. I don't know. Maybe it's just that he's not ready. It could be a failed attempt, because the way that the crowd reacts to Sheamus, I think, apart from saying that he looks stupid, that's not really neither here nor there when he's had no decent storyline apart from with the All-Star and the absolutely amazing Randy Orton. So, it's, I think he'll try and he'll fail if he does. Like, he might actually get the match started and then end the Money in the Bank thing for him, because I don't think he's ever going to be successful being the champion at this point. He's just no one's into him at all. I know I'm not. Rollins is so much better to have the title and keep the title, if you had to compare them, because, he does so much good things for people actually to care about it. With him having the title, I'll lose interest. So,
it is interesting that Sheamus wasn't around, but it does make me question, are they keeping him off TV until Hell in a Cell to kind of take your attention off that possibility, to try and make you forget that this could happen? And I don't recall they did the same thing, or the same sort of thing with Rollins. I guess they couldn't have, because he was a much more central figure. He was, the Authority's golden boy, but that almost sounds like a strategy that they'd employ if they wanted to have Sheamus go through and successfully cash in. And then to set up with the Authority questioning whether they should stick with Rollins as a continuation of their legacy, or if they should move on to Sheamus. Especially if Kane were to beat Rollins at Hell in a Cell. It's a very intriguing possibility to me.
It seems like they've really played down the whole fact that Seth Rollins has lost against Cena, and that he is, he is vulnerable. He lost his cash-in, his rematch, I should say, against Cena to get the US title back. But I don't know, it just seems like, Rollins is their guy, he should stay their guy, and there's no one else who can contest that spot, apart from Kane, who's looking really good, and they're building him up well. But you just, because of his age and all of that sort of stuff, and looking at the patterns of Kane, you just don't see any longevity in that. It's sad, because I think this is a great run for him, and he's actually looking really good, really strong. He's moving well in the ring. So one can hope, and I hope Sheamus stays away from it, but we'll see.
Also, you got to consider the way they've been using Rollins lately. Rollins has been running his care from Kane. Rollins was made to look like a paranoid, raging lunatic. The HR department actively considers Seth Rollins to be one of the most unstable people on the roster. At some point, you got to wonder when the authority thinks, man, maybe we should start distancing ourselves from this guy. People in our company, in our corporate hierarchy, don't like the man. They think he's dangerous. And maybe that if we stuck with him, that would reflect badly on us. So, damage control? It just seems like a lot of the steps they're taking are designed to create that distance, or at least to create tension enough to spark the distancing.
So, you guys were talking about, as far as just generally speaking, there really isn't anyone to take the title off of Seth Rollins. Right now, Seth Rollins has had the title for about 184 days. Outside of Brock Lesnar, who held the title for 224 days, no one since CM Punk, and he lost the title in 2013, has held the title longer. So, and that started in 2011. So, with that in mind, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Just the fact that we've had two champions with over 150 days in a row, holding the title, with Brock Lesnar at 224, Seth Rollins now with 184. Do you think that the longer reigning champions is better for WWE, or would you rather them have a little bit more, not necessarily hot potatoing it, but allowing for shorter reigns up there, a month, 2 months, thereabouts, in between this stuff? What's more entertaining for you?
I'm just really scared that they're doing what I think they did with the Divas Championship, which was get Nikki to get the longest reigning title reign to erase AJ Lee off that. And they're wanting to do the same thing in regards to CM Punk's 434-day reign. I'm scared that that's going to be the case, because I think that perhaps it's too long. I think CM Punk held it for too long, but
434 days.
Yeah, it's pretty long. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it on Wikipedia. But yeah, no, it's, I think CM Punk held that title really well, but I don't know if doing that when you've got all these NXT stars coming through is the best idea, and for lack of a better term, best for business.
I don't think that they would have Rollins hold it long enough to erase Punk's name from that record. You can get away with it in the Divas division because there's still such a stigma surrounding it that a lot of people don't care. But the top title in the company, you need that to stay vibrant. You need that to suck people in, to give them a reason to watch. And Rollins, I think, to be fair to him, I think he could do that sort of reign justice. But I don't think the WWE has the creative ability to make that happen. Not with Rollins. With Punk, he carried a lot of that ball by himself. And he also had Heyman to support him in the latter half of it. Rollins is not CM Punk in terms of charisma, in terms of keeping people interested. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's just not on that level. So I think that they will take that belt off him sooner rather than later. As far as long versus short reigns, I think you need a healthy mix of both. We have had some lengthy reigns since 2011. You need some of those shorter reigns to make the longer ones mean more. Like in TNA with Bobby Roode's reign, the one that he said is the longest one in company history. Before and after that, you had a number of shorter reigns. Like Austin Aries took the belt off him and he held it for maybe a couple months or so, and then Bully Ray walked in and took it from Aries, and so on and so forth. You need the longer reigns to make it special, or the shorter reigns to make the longer reign special.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on from the top title race and let's talk about something that I think we all should be excited for, but a lot of us are having a hard time for that, and that is just the fact that the Wyatts versus the remnants of the Shield is still continuing. We've got Bray versus Roman going right now. Most likely they'll end that, or at least hit their next piece of that story at Hell in a Cell. Where do you guys see this going?
The way it looked like on Raw, it looked like it was going to be Ambrose and Orton versus Strowman and Luke Harper, and then leaving, because they've been really pushing the idea that it's just between Roman and Bray. In saying that, Bray and Roman had a great match on Raw, and that was actually one of the better matches I've seen Roman do in quite a while, and one of the few singles matches I've seen him do in a long time. So, I think it's kind of annoying that we're doing the record skipping thing, but at least it's no Sheamus Randy Orton.
Yeah, I want to see this end or start a markedly new chapter in that story at Hell in a Cell. We've been going since Money in the Bank with Bray versus Roman, and we brought in the old Shield versus Wyatt feud to make things interesting, but now that's starting to lose steam. It's obviously starting to lose steam because they brought in Jericho and Orton as partners. You've hit the bottom of the creative barrel if you bring those two in. With that said, I don't know where they go from here. Especially, I'll go ahead and say it, I didn't watch the whole match at the end. It just wasn't in the cards for me. So I've clearly failed as a member of this podcast. The last interaction I know of between Ambrose and Orton was the little tiff they had in the locker room, where Ambrose said he doesn't want outsiders getting involved in their business. So I don't know how that affects Bray versus Roman going forward. If they just tell everybody else to fuck off entirely and just go back to the singles feud between them, or if Ambrose gets over himself and they bring in somebody new. Or if he just goes off entirely and fights Orton and it's just Roman versus the Wyatt family. I have no idea. But I hope that we get an inkling of what's to come at Hell in a Cell and not just more of the same after.
I think what we're actually, with in regards to that segment that they had on Raw with Ambrose saying, I don't trust anyone else, and just that whole, we can do it ourselves. I think that was the start of Ambrose is going to turn. I think that Ambrose is going to go, well, hey, I'm sick of being beat up all the time, and he'll turn into a Wyatt, perhaps, or in some way, or just generally just turn on the whole situation. It seems like that relationship is going to go fairly soon. Hopefully, because at least it'll spice things up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from with Ambrose and Reigns turning on each other. I don't see him joining up with anybody else, especially the Wyatts, because, he doesn't strike me as if you can't beat him, join him kind of guy. If he gets fed up with a fight, I see him just leaving entirely instead of, fully turning his coat. I want to say that I see Reigns turning heel as more likely, personally, just because of his character. Like, there's not that unhinged, unpredictable, aspect that everybody in the WWE seems to love. There's not that sort of anti-hero, if you will, stone cold vibe about him. Roman Reigns, there's already a portion of the audience that hates him. Just pure straight hates him, no matter what he does. And I think it would be easier for the WWE to turn him heel.
I hope so. For him to get over, he needs to be heel. And be a good heel. It's a weird thing. You have to be bad to then be good. It seems like that's the rite of passage.
Yeah, it certainly does.
it was like Rollins, I thought he was the most insignificant member of the Shield way back then. I thought he was the little guy that no one cared about. And I thought Ambrose was the leader, and Roman Reigns was the muscle. And then suddenly Seth Rollins is the main guy of the company. And then you actually get to see how good he is. And that's when I started to see how good he was as Tyler Black. So, yeah, it's definitely different. I hope we do see that heel turn, because it'll be awesome. It'll be so different, and it opens up so many more feuds as well.
Yeah, he definitely had something that you could really work with when he first debuted in NXT as Roman Reigns. He was this blue chip, 1%er kind of guy. And, he was incredibly vicious. Even despite his, I don't want to say cultured, but definitely high class veneer. And, I mean, that's just a guy that you can get to hate real quick. So, he definitely has something to work with in that regard if they let him. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes you just don't know what you got with a guy until you turn him heel and let him go. Seth Rollins was a good babyface champion when, he won that Gold Rush tournament. He became the first ever NXT champion, and everybody was on his side. But you're right. There just wasn't a ton of personality to him, like then or when he came with the Shield. You had Ambrose just dominating everything with his persona. And then eventually Roman Reigns with the guy's got a magnetism about him. And it certainly helps that he's Samoan, he's big, he's handsome, he's got that eye-catching tattoo. Whereas Rollins, he was just a flippy dude. Yeah, you're right. With some guys, you just gotta turn them heel and let them show that other side of themselves.
So the other big story that's going on right now, as far as what WWE is doing, it's not just building to promote Hell in a Cell. It's also promoting this Madison Square Garden special that they're going to have on the network. Big Show's involved. Brock Lesnar's involved. What's your thoughts on this upcoming show? Are you looking forward to it?
Not particularly. That last thing that they did with Heyman and Big Show, it's much better than they've done with other promos previously, like Big Show versus Mark Henry to build for the Madison Square Garden match. I don't give two shits about Big Show versus Mark Henry. I've seen it all. But put Big Show on the mic and put him with a guy like Paul Heyman, and you got something that, if you had more time to work with it, could build a truly interesting feud between Big Show and Brock Lesnar. It's just the WWE is not putting that level of thought into it. They're reminding everybody that the Big Show beat Brock Lesnar back in 2002, 13 years ago, when Big Show was already, he was already at his prime or past it. And Brock Lesnar was basically a rookie. Now, Big Show's 13 years older. It's obvious that he has issues getting around, and Brock Lesnar's never been better than he is right now. As Paul Heyman likes to say over and over again, he's finally healthy. He's not dealing with diverticulitis anymore, and the man was a monster when he had it. I like the idea of putting Big Show in a ring. As Paul Heyman said, finally give him somebody that he can really test his limits with and just go nuts. But that's not how the WWE's built it, and I find myself not really caring because I don't think that they put that much thought into the result of this match.
Just to connect some dots here, is there only one match going on at the Madison Square Garden live event?
No, I've got the full card. Do you want me to read it out?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. That is pretty much your main event. We've also got Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Rusev.
Oh my God.
I know, right? I'm looking forward to that one too. Rusev versus Ziggler. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. The New Day versus the Dudley Boys for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And Seth Rollins versus John Cena for the U.S. title in a steel cage match.
Okay, I was wondering when they were going to have that rematch.
And we'll probably get Charlotte, Team Bella, Stardust, Kane, Mark Henry.
That's actually a pretty good card.
It's not bad, yeah.
It's apart from the Like, I don't know why they don't have the main... Like, no. I'm really confused why the main event isn't Randy Orton versus Sheamus, because we've been waiting for this match for so long, and it's going to be such a great match. Like, these guys have just... There's so much tension. Like, who knows who would win? We've never seen this before. So, no, I think the cage match would be cool. I think with those two going in a cage match with Rollins and John Cena, that actually would be really good.
How many chair shots do you think Big Show's going to take from Brock Lesnar this time?
All of them.
I can't see him going to Suplex City that much because Big Show's, he's massive at the moment.
How awesome would it be if he went like 20 times into Suplex City?
Isn't 16 the record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we get to double digits, I will be very, very surprised. I think if we get above 5, I think it'll be a squash match though. I don't think it'll go for very long. I don't think it'll go over 10 minutes. No way.
Yeah, especially if they follow the trend that they set with Beast in the East, and it's like, that was 2 hours, wasn't it?
2 hour show.
I want to say it was.
Yeah, it was a 2 hour show, and Lesnar was on stage for maybe a total of 3 minutes. He wasn't out there for very long.
Yeah. Yeah, if they keep this 2 hours, then I don't foresee any of the matches really going all that long. Maybe Cena and Rollins in the cage match, because those usually take a while, but none of the others really. I don't think Jericho would last 10 minutes.
Will we see a title change at all at that house show? Because there was a title change at Beast in the East.
If there would be, it would have to be New Day versus Dudley's, because that's basically Dudleyville.
Yeah, I think you're not going to see Kevin Owens lose to Chris Jericho.
I would really hope not.
Apparently, they've, according to other podcasts, they've been feuding on house shows for quite a while, like a few weeks now, all across Canada. So I'm sure they'd do an okay match. I think that Jericho's finally got to that title of that he's past it. He's just, he's in good shape for his age. He's just nowhere near as good as he used to be.
Yeah, he's not in ring shape. He's in tour shape is what he's in. Rockstar tour shape, not WWE tour shape.
Yeah. Or I do a podcast twice a week shape.
I can't imagine though that they would pull the trigger and give the Dudley Boys the titles before Hell in a Cell. Like that's going to be a pretty big deal, don't you think?
I think they could work with it I think they could make it work, because the New Day, they seem to have everything going for them. Aside from a couple of times when Xavier's been put through a table, the New Day got the last laugh this week on Raw. So maybe to keep the outcome at Hell in a Cell more in limbo, I guess, maybe they would have the Dudleys walk into Hell in a Cell as tag team champions.
I think you're basically not going to get what you want at Hell in a Cell. I think they're going to save that for Survivor Series. I think, which is the next pay-per-view after Hell in a Cell, right? I'm not wrong by saying that. Yeah. They're going to need a big card for that, because it seems like they're going for the big 4 and having the 4 being good, really good moving forward. So you've got your SummerSlam, your Survivor Series, and then, I hope they salvage Royal Rumble, and then, moving on to WrestleMania. So I think they'll save that big one for Survivor Series. That's my theory anyway. I think because they can do such great matches against each other, even though they're doing it to death and they should be having other tag teams in there. Hey, why don't bring an NXT tag team just for a one-off on a Raw? People would like it. Bring the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just a one-off. Just, have the New Day doing their crazy stuff out there, and then black and white happens. It would be cool.
Yeah, title versus title would not hurt at all. Not the way they've been blending the two universes. Or not title versus title, champion versus champion is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And just a one-off. You could have Blue Pants come in and annoy Xavier Woods. It'd be really great. Why not? And it doesn't have to mean anything. It just has to be a one-off for exposure for the NXT guys to get more interest in the NXT brand. It'd be a win-win. And it wouldn't just be always Dudley's running out and then beating up New Day, which it seems like that's happening a lot at the moment.
yeah, right now they can rely on that novelty factor of Dudleys are back, but yeah, eventually that does have to run out.
Do you think that they would be considering holding off a Dudley's title reign until the December pay-per-view, which is TLC?
That would be a case of all the stars aligning and making it perfect. I worry that that's too long for them to wait. For creative to wait. Like, I get the feeling that they want to pull a trigger on that 10th title reign soon-ish. Cause, 2 months and a little bit of change isn't that long, but it's not. We've essentially got 2 pay-per-views before that happens. So.
We need an interim feud. We need something in between that to happen, like a little tag team to go off. Even if it's the Ascension or something, it doesn't have, just something, just to keep it going. So it's going to be fresh for TLC, for a tables match, which is what everyone will want. But
yeah, I mean, just introduce Los Matadores, have them come in with a fresh new attitude and heel gimmicks. We got rid of the dead weight, all 15 pounds of it. Now we're ready for a title match. So just something like that. It doesn't have to be magnificent, although a good feud would be a plus. But yeah, essentially you're just looking for filler until you get that time where you want to pull the trigger on the Dudley's title reign.
What about the flip side of that? Just real quick. What about the idea of the Dudleys, quote unquote, passing the torch at TLC? Do you think that's a possibility?
That is equally as possible. They're at a point in their careers where, yeah, they could go on for another few years. Clearly they're both still in great shape to be in the ring, but, they are getting up there. And at some point, yeah, you do have to pass that torch. And I think that both Bubba and Devon are mentally ready for it. I think they've been ready for it for a while because, they did it in TNA to some extent and they've got the school. I don't know how long they want to be away from it. And I don't know how long they would want to wait until they gave a team in the WWE their seal of approval, I suppose.
I think, with superstars that are a bit older, they're touring, they're full time at the moment. They're doing house shows, obviously, and maybe it's just they're going to come to the end of their run at TLC. Perhaps that is the end of their run, and then hopefully they can go into the Hall of Fame. But, you can't do what they're doing and not get injured at their age, unless you're extremely lucky. They've got tables involved and tag team stuff. I think there's a lot of chance for injury through all the crazy spots they've been doing. Like on Raw, they had Big E do that great spot where he did a spear through the ropes going onto the outside onto Bubba, and those guys are old. They can't handle that, doing that all the time, and that didn't look like it was a fun bump for anyone. So I don't know. I think I would like to see them come to an end because it ruins the novelty if you overexpose it. It's like when the New Age Outlaws came back. They were on all the time and it was it was cool to start with. It was like, yeah, nostalgia. And then it was like, oh, nostalgia. You guys can't even yell anymore. This isn't fun.
Man. So yeah, that basically we're all building up to WWE Hell in a Cell, October 25th. We're going to preview it on FTPW285. Right now, the only officially booked match is Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, but most likely we're also going to see Kane versus Seth Rollins, New Day versus the Dudley Boys for the WWE Tag Team Championships, and maybe like a Ryback versus Owens, maybe some other rematches from Night of Champions. We'll see. Quick reminder, if you aren't a member of the Squared Circle of Trust yet, please consider it. It's only a few dollars a month, and it really goes to help us in a lot of big ways, like support the show, overall pay for the hosting, pay for the distribution, all that good stuff. It's really you guys helping us out. And we really feel like we help you guys out through the wrestling week each and every week. So definitely check it out. fanstalkprowrestling.com. There's a big green button there with a way for you guys to support. You can also go to patreon.com/fanstalk. Right now, let's talk a little bit about NXT. There's again, a lot of stuff going on. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is still going on. NXT Takeover Respect is going to happen on October 7th, coming from the Full Sail University. We're going to be previewing it in full next week. But what's going on in NXT right now that's got you guys excited? Nick?
I am still interested in what's going on with the Tag Team Classic. It's still going strong. It's still, it's still good matches. You know, Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy. That was excellent. And, I did like the return of Blue Pants, if only momentarily.
That's all she can handle, though. You know, she's not really a great wrestler. It's good to see her around. She gets the pop that everyone wants and then disappears.
Leva Bates is amazing. You shut your mouth.
Look, I'm not saying that I think she's gorgeous, but I think that just having the little bits, we were just talking, you know, we were talking WWE about overexposure, and having the little bits of Blue Pants is good. Too much Blue Pants is bad.
That is fair. She needs to get signed post haste. I am excited beyond measure for Asuka finally debuting. And yeah, throwing her in with Dana Brooke and Emma, I don't know how exciting that'll be, but I am hopeful because, you know, Dana and Emma ordered her out of the ring and she's hanging her head. She walked out and up the ramp, but she gets to the top of the ramp and she turns around and she's got this sly look on her face that gives Emma and Dana serious cause for concern. And, you know, that's exciting to me. They're gonna give a female wrestler the capacity to play mind games and be cerebral about what she's doing. It's not just, you know, they're crazy. The women don't like each other. They're treating this like you would any feud in wrestling. They're making it interesting. And I love it. And
they're making it more real instead of the usual sort of view on women that they have in WWE, which is, as we've been putting, you know, every woman hates each other, etc., that view. They've made it really open, and it's like, thanks to the Four Horsewomen, really, they've really opened up that you can look at these like just normal wrestlers and it's a storyline. You know, there is no barrier about gender anymore, which is awesome. You know, it's cool to see girls wrestling, but in the end, I just like to see good wrestling. I don't care if it's from a unicorn, as long as it's good. So, yeah, look, I think this is going to build into something good. We might have, you know, a new wave of great things happening through NXT. I think it'll take time because I think a lot of the women aren't ready. Not all of them. Some of them are really ready, but just a slow build, and we'll get there. But I think with the Tag Team Classic, it's very, very exciting seeing what's going on. I think your initial prediction, Nick, with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, I think that's going to happen. I think that's the way they're looking at now. I don't see why they would get Finn Balor and Samoa Joe to go through to the finals. So I'm hoping it'll be Chad Gable and Jason Jordan versus the Mechanics in the final. But we'll see.
Now, you know what? You almost would expect Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver Respect. Because they really haven't even built, you know, the next contender.
Are they saving that for the UK tour, maybe?
Maybe, but like what really has been announced. You know, we've got the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic finals for NXT TakeOver, and then you've got Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's Championship. So, you know, and while that is your main event, you still have room to put Balor and Joe on the card, even if they aren't in that Tag Team Classic.
I'm with Sean. I do think they're gonna put that off till the UK event because obviously Finn Balor is Irish. Samoa Joe is big name in the UK. And I think they really learned a lesson about having the NXT Championship and the NXT Women's Championship co-main event a takeover. One or the other is going to suffer, and in this case, it was ostensibly the top title in that brand. And, you know, it's basically the same match again, but with more stakes this time around at Respect. I think they're going to give the women the time they need, the attention they need, without drawing anything away with a top title match. And I think they're going to do that in reverse at TakeOver UK, because presumably Sasha Banks is going to move on and focus solely on Raw after Respect, and there's not really anybody else left in NXT to challenge Bayley that has that same sort of attention. There are no, Bayley is the last of the 4 horsewomen in NXT proper. So we might see Emma, we might see Dana Brooke, we might see, God forbid, Eva Marie. We might see them in a women's title match at TakeOver UK, but it's not going to have that same attention. It's not going to have that same sort of big fight feel. So I think they will have Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor at TakeOver UK for the title.
Okay. I do like that. I mean, I like the idea of holding it off until the UK tour. It does make sense. But it just does seem like this card is kind of empty, you know?
It does.
And definitely Bayley versus Sasha. I think that's going to be a great main event. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you kind of need another big match in there, I think, so.
Do you think we might see the Vaudevillains defend the title?
So, a double tag team match?
Yes. I don't necessarily know against who, because Blake and Murphy already got their rematch. But,
so not the winner of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but,
oh, well, that too, I guess. If they didn't want to hold that off. Yeah, that could also work. But I was thinking maybe just like an attraction. Well, I guess not an attraction, but just the title match as well. They decide on contenders somehow. Maybe Enzo and Cass finally step up and say, you know what, we're tired of being overlooked. We want our title match now, damn it. And it happens.
I think the tag team title rematch for the titles would make more sense. I'd love to see.
Well, they already had it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Awkward.
I don't know. I don't know if you put Enzo and Cass there. I mean, like, at least, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just threw them out as a name. I have no idea who.
I know, but I'm taking this literally, and the thought of like them saying we've been overlooked, but really they haven't necessarily overlooked. They just keep losing the matches that we think that they are going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. They did book Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze for this match as well, or this card as well.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I think Apollo Crews is getting the biggest push in NXT at the moment.
It's awesome.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I would say the biggest push, but he's doing the most with his initial push. I mean, because Baron Corbin was like shoved down our throats. Same thing for Bull Dempsey, but this guy is just a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, he's a lot more personable too.
He can actually work where Corbin struggles.
Mm-hmm.
He looks awesome, but that's about it. Now, we've got something written down, and I just really wanted to talk about this because I really enjoyed it. Adam Rose is back.
Yeah.
And now he hates everything.
Yeah. So let's talk about this real quick. Adam Rose, new gimmick. We're finally getting to see it. I don't know. Like, what's better, the party gimmick or the non-party gimmick?
It sounds amazing hearing him say that we pooped on his party. It made my day. I was like, really? And it wasn't just once. He just kept saying it. It was great.
Yeah, I did enjoy those bits. I don't necessarily know what the point is, because like what happened to that beefcake gimmick he had going with the artist formerly known as Brad Maddox? Did that just fall apart?
Or was that just a one-off thing?
Maybe they're just trying it out. Yeah, maybe they're just trying it out, seeing if there was chemistry there. It'd be cool seeing Adam Rose try and get more heelish, like start cheating and being really conniving. He didn't really do that, but give it time. Maybe we'll see more of it.
Yeah, but why can't we just have Lou Kruger? I just want him back so much.
Well, what if this is just the transition into that?
Maybe. It seems like a really marked... It seems like a really weird transition. Like, from Adam Rose, happy-go-lucky party guy, full-on snapping and turning, man-hunting mercenary, that seems like much more of a contrast. But then you go from party guy to bookish looking party pooper onto Leo Kruger. It just seems like an extra step that you don't really need, I guess.
Whatever happened to the bunny?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I remember there was a big hype.
He told WWE, fuck you, and he quit. Because Justin Gabriel quit.
Well, unless you're under the belief that it was Darren Young, and which could have been.
I don't remember that ever being corroborated.
Well, no.
Like, but Justin Gabriel straight up said, like, he was a bunny most of the time.
Yeah, but it would still, whatever. I mean, whatever.
This is a serious.
So you're saying this isn't a real.
Proof.
Hold on. Stop.
Okay.
You're saying that the bunny isn't a real bunny?
Oh.
Are you saying that the bunny isn't real?
And that's all the time we have for this.
Don't worry, Sean. The bunny's totally real. Alberto Del Rio ran over Santa Claus too. Like, killed him dead. That was the real Santa. No more Christmas ever.
I just don't know how I'm going to cope now. No. No, I think I didn't know it was Justin Gabriel, so you learn something new every day.
Yeah, definitely during the tail end of it, there was the rumor that they were going to put Darren Young there because there was that brief moment where Titus O'Neil was feuding with the Bunny and Adam Rose.
Oh, yeah.
And that could have been the way to bring Darren Young back, but it never occurred.
I thought you were going to drop a bomb there and say it was Heath Slater. It's Slater Awareness Month.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's right. That's when we had Slater get it. Oh, that would have been... Oh, man. Good times. All right, so yeah, a lot of cool stuff happened in NXT. I'm still excited, but again, we're going to spend probably quite a bit of time next week on it as we preview NXT TakeOver Respect. Right now, the official matches, we've got the finish for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. We also have Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I don't remember this getting announced, but like you said, Nick, we've got Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. And there's also Adam Rose versus Bull Dempsey. It looked like that's something that they were starting to build this last week, so we'll see. But let's go ahead and go into win fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
Of the week. For those joining the conversation for the first time, win fail is our chance to acknowledge both the best and worst things that happened this week in pro wrestling. So Nick, what was your win of the week?
I'd say the way NXT handled its women's wrestling segments. Not just Asuka's debut, but actually Eve Marie's match. Because I think the WWE is screwing with people with these controversial finishes. You know, the count out that may or may not have happened this week when Eve Marie had her foot on the ropes, but, you know, you didn't necessarily see it. Yeah, you can look real closely to see the rope shake as though somebody's putting their foot on it. But just the camera work there and the way they're casting this as, you know, Eve Marie is being, or they're playing favoritism with Eve Marie. With the rumors that we've got of the WWE kind of trolling its audience, like when Full Sail got that show on the same night as TakeOver Brooklyn, and they had things happening like Kevin Owens walking out with the NXT title, the rumors of them screwing with that audience. It's presenting kind of an interesting pattern of the way that the WWE wants to tell its stories and wants to keep its audience guessing. Yeah, I don't really want to see Eve Marie go on to have a title match, but the way they're using her to tell this story, it's novel at the very least, and I give them props for that.
Okay, Sean, your win of the week?
Cool. My win of the week is for Pro WWE. I'm actually feeling good about some things in WWE this time round. No, Kane is my win of the week. I really think that the way that built him and the character development he has and that whole split personality and his acting and well for WWE standards, he's really portraying his character well, showing glimpses of the demon, then going back into overly happy corporate Kane. And it's good. We've seen something that's got actually some development. So props to WWE for actually doing something and giving something a go that's instead of the normal annoying circles. So good on it. Win for Kane.
All right, my win of the week is actually going to go to Bull Dempsey. I know we've been pretty sour about Bull on the show since his debut. He has been pretty awful. But lately, I'm starting to really like him. Definitely post Bull Fit. What he's doing right now as far as his mic work, the way he carries himself, especially in this segment that opened up this last week, between him, Adam Rose and Tyler Breeze, I thought that went really well. So yeah, overall, I'm seeing a lot of improvement on Bull Dempsey, and I think that he can probably do pretty well in NXT. So we'll see.
That's bullshit.
Bullfit.
Yeah, that's what you meant. Fails. What's your fail of the week, Nick?
The fact that the WWE bookended Raw with good, if not great content, and then just filled the middle with tons and tons of bullshit. Like, putting back to back an Orton match against Bo Dallas, no less, and then following that up with Ryback on commentary. How big of a fuck you is that to the fans? I couldn't be bothered. Big Show versus Mark Henry for the 1000th time. Couldn't be bothered. I just wish there was better booking. Admittedly, there's not a ton to work with. There are only a few really good storylines going on. Corporate Kane being one of them. But, just space that out a little bit. Make it look better than it actually is.
All right, Sean?
Yeah, for me is don't you ever interrupt Paul Heyman again. It's just, why would you have the guy who's the best promo guy in the company by a million miles interrupted by a guy who is passable, just passable at doing promos, who comes in and takes over? It was stupid. And the thing that made it stupid was that Big Show was really clear and not even hostile towards Paul Heyman. He's just like, yeah, I'm not going to hurt you. You're just an advocate. So why didn't they go back and forth in a discussion? Why did Heyman leave? Why get rid of Heyman, the best talker in the business? Fail. Absolute fail.
My fail of the week. Really, actually, I don't even have a fail. Nothing stood out to me as too terribly bad from what I saw. So, granted, I did mostly just watch NXT though. So,
way to take a stand, Garvin.
Oh man. So, all right. So we are going to end it here for the free episode that we release every Wednesday up on the feed. If you are a Patreon subscriber, we're going to stick around for a few more minutes, talk a little bit, some further conversation about NXT, the NXT transition to the main roster, what we thought about the NXT panel that happened after Raw, or at least that aired after Raw this week, on the network. So definitely, keep your eye out for that. Should be dropped a little bit later on this week. But, yeah, let's go ahead and close up. Also, we should also say, we've heard your feedback about Fans Talk TNA. Fans Talk TNA was a series that we kind of let die quietly, and a few of you stepped up to tell us we should bring it back. But I also just remembered that Bound for Glory is this weekend, so yep. We should probably preview it. And I think if we took a couple weeks off, it would be good to come back and just kind of spend some time to talk about Bound for Glory, what cage side seats and a lot of the internet is saying is most likely the final big event from TNA ever. So, and Kurt Angle's final match as well. So, a lot of things to look forward to, I guess. But yeah, we are going to release a Fans Talk TNA episode this week, so keep your eye on that. And of course, Suburban Mysteries, a new series that was just released. Was really fun to produce, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you've had a chance to take a listen, please let us know what you think. It's going to be a monthly series, so you should expect a new episode near the end of October. Nick, any final thoughts from you?
No.
Sean?
Not at all. Thanks again, guys. I'll be hanging around, and I might try and see if I can watch the Bound for Glory as a history-making thing.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else. So.
Yeah, you better watch it before it's not there, I guess.
The problem is it's not televised in Australia at all. At all. So we haven't had the weekly thing come through, or pay-per-view. So I'm going to have to source other ways around it. But yes, thank you again.
Cool. And that's the show. The conversation does not have to stop here, though. You can join us over on YouTube. That's where a majority of the conversation happens. Those who are a member of the Squared Circle of Trust over on Patreon. We've also got the Slack channel, which is a great place to be all throughout the week. Also the Facebook group. Quick shout out to the Facebook group. Always some good conversations there, at least quantity. There's good conversations there. But that's it. Definitely. fanstalkprowrestling.com, patreon.com/fanstalk. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Later.